On today's adventure, we go looking for hornedworms, which are the larvae of the sphinx moth or hawk moth. It takes the caterpillars or larvae about 2 weeks before they turn into a pupa, and then another 3 weeks before they turn into a moth and begin laying eggs, and the process starts over. We started in Queen Creek here. We saw lots of butterflies, but unfortunately, I think it was just too hot for any of the caterpillars. So we headed to higher elevation up towards Superior and then through Miami, which basically was abandoned, and Globe. We basically stopped anywhere that had good vegetation that looked like it might support caterpillars, sometimes just off the side of the road. I guess I should mention that even though they look fierce with that horn at the end of their bodies, they're basically harmless, but they do get you covered with tobacco juice when you pick them up. That's what you got to be careful about. The first location we found them was just at a rest stop at the side of the road. You can hear the cars going by. And once we saw one, we looked and we found lots of them, including that giant black one. Crazy looking. Green ones, yellow ones, quite a variety. In one area we stopped just before we got to Miami, we found this dead, what looked like a prairie rattlesnake, but I guess it's just a light phase black rattlesnake. Interesting to see. Though temperatures were still, about 96, it beat the temperatures in the valley. You're on video. What are we doing out here?
We are collecting worms. Follow me for 1 second. This is what we're doing.
I don't know if they're showing up. There
they are.
You've probably been asking yourself, why are we even out there collecting these worms? Well, we'll show you that at the end of the video. A week ago, on a trip with his wife, Kelly had stopped at this old abandoned Apache drive-in theater and had found a lot of worms. We found a dead diamondback as we entered, and even though he said he'd cleared out a couple hundred, there were still more worms left. It was just a shame that gas prices weren't still this low in Globe. But we headed to another site, and what is it? An actual sphinx moth. Cool to see as it's drinking water. Though there are over 1,400 different hornworm species, this is the moth that those caterpillars will turn into. Cool to see. When they're on my Mexican bird of paradise flying, they often look almost like a small hummingbird. It was also cool to see all the butterflies. I can't believe all the butterflies. It was cool to see the sphinx moths and the butterflies, but we didn't find any more caterpillars here. And eventually I was able to convince Kelly it's time to head for home, as we each had our own bucket of worms. And while supposedly Native Americans used to eat these worms, we had Mexican food and left the Globe, Miami area, heading for home. And if you've been wondering why we collect these worms, this is it. Lizard food. The hornworms, they're high in calcium, low in fat, and that soft ectoskeleton makes them easily digestible. So hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.
This is the ever faithful reporter with Jerry Fife. I had to bribe him with a lunch at El Rey restaurant in Globe to come caterpillar hunting. He is so happy. All right, Jerry, tell us some of the highlights of the day.
we've walked through brush, got stickers all through our legs and our socks. Practically stepped on a couple rattlesnakes. Fortunately, they were already dead. And we're practically heat stroke.
Tired, hungry.
And we've had just a lot of fun. Worm hunting!
And that is worms behind. That is worm territory behind Jerry as far as the eye can see. That's it. This is your faithful reporter, Kelly Paul, signing off.
And I got a bucket of worms in the back. And that's the real story.